Hi, so this is a short video to demonstrate some of the functionality that we've already developed in terms of ScriptRunner for Jira at REST endpoints, delivering SDON information, which is then rendered using the SmartDraw VisualScript agent. The SmartDraw VisualScript agent, as you'll see, is present in both Jira and Confluence. In Jira, you can add it to a dashboard. In Confluence, you can add it to any page. There are some little differences between them, and I will flag some of those, and both are very much works in progress. So for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to step through, starting with a very simple hello world. And obviously the example of this is to show that you have connectivity between the dashboard, the gadget in the dashboard, and the REST endpoint that is provided by ScriptRunner for Jira. With all of these gadgets and macros that go in Confluence, you set the URL that you wish to access, and the standard permissions apply in terms of whether you have or have not got access to that REST endpoint. So here we set an SDON URL, the REST endpoint. It calls the ScriptRunner REST endpoint, and it returns the image of hello world. Relatively straightforward, but it's a good simple test to make sure that you have connectivity between your dashboard or your Confluence page and that REST endpoint. Our second example is to take that initial version and add a parameter so that we're passing information across. And so what I'm doing is I'm just going to change the parameter, and what we should now have is a new rendered image which contains that information. And so we can see that it now says hello adaptivist, which proves that not only can we contact the REST endpoint, we can pass information across to that REST endpoint that can drive logic in the REST endpoint in terms of what is delivered. The next dashboard is showing something a little bit more complex. So this is looking at the relationship of a single task, in this instance test 2, and its relationship to inward-facing tasks and outward-facing tasks. Again, what we're doing here is we're passing to this particular test the information about where do we start from. So here we're passing a parameter which is the issue key, and in this example is test 2. If I change that to test 4, so that we're using that as the central task, then what we will see is that it will redraw that diagram. It will move test down into the central task, and the outward link will still go to test 2. Clearly, by using the ScriptRunner multiple links, we can work this through and show all relationships to any task that we want to start from. So just putting that back to make sure that I don't mess up my demonstration. Go back to test 2, and you'll see that it again refreshes all dynamically. If we add another test activity and we link it to test 2, then automatically we will get an updated diagram as well. Moving on to our dashboard 4, many of you have already seen this. So this was where we did the program increment for ARM in Cambridge, where we captured all of the features that were related to their program increment. And in terms of planning, blue are independent features, red are agreed dependencies, and green are requested dependencies. The orange are the milestones. There's still work to go on this one in terms of making it absolutely right, and the legend is the current work in progress. But here you can see how we can do a two-dimensional grid, taking any two custom fields and putting this out so that the two custom fields provide the x-axis and the y-axis, and then the individual cards are color-coded within those according to what's there. This is developed in such a way that we're going to allow users to be able to call the two-dimensional grid and pass their parameters as to what is the content, what are the tickets that are to be displayed, and what are the features that are going to be the rows, what are the features that are going to be the columns, and what relationship should we have across. So moving to my final demonstration in Jira, we've also looked at the information from TM4J. And so what we have here is information about a particular ticket and displaying for that ticket the test runs that are associated with it, the test cases, and the test plans. So what we're showing here is that not only can SmartDraw talk to a ScriptRunner endpoint, ScriptRunner endpoint can also talk to another REST endpoint, in this case TM4J's, retrieve the information from there, and package it up in SDON for it to be rendered. So what we've seen with these set of 5 demonstration dashboards are 5 examples of increasing complexity in terms of how SmartDraw can pick up information and render that information using ScriptRunner endpoints, a SmartDraw front end, and potentially linking into third-party organizations and their APIs. So earlier I mentioned that this could also apply in Confluence. And so here is a page in Confluence which is linked to this same demonstration site. And what you can see is the various calls to the REST endpoints. And what does that display? So you can see your hello world, a call to Adaptivist. We have one slight challenge with anything which has a parameter which has a space in. We have to use HTML encoded spaces, which makes writing those parameters a little bit of a pain at the moment. You've seen the relationship to other issues. One of the things that you'll notice here is that the SmartDraw for Confluence doesn't yet support the grid layout. And so what you're seeing is a horizontal layout of the outward links at this point. So just take that back. Again, all of this is all dynamic. So now when I refresh this page, we should have, oh, it's updated. So we now do have the grid view. And so you can see the test information coming through. Our program increment is not displaying. That is work still in progress to understand why it displays in a Jira dashboard but doesn't display in a Confluence gadget. Our TM for J is displaying and is showing in that respect. So that's a very quick run through of what we have, what visualizations we have. The next set that we're working on are using the SDON Gantt approach and thinking about example use cases to do this. We already have 2 in progress, one which is for one of our clients, which is to look at planned time using Tempo Time Planner and how you represent that. And the second example is looking at it in terms of asset management and how you manage the assets of licenses on different computers. So as always, very happy to have feedback. If you want logins to have a look at the test environment and you want to look at the actual code that's there, it is in a repository on Bitbucket, but we can also give you access to this test environment. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you found that useful.